On Fifth Gear, we're forever saying that if you've got a high-performance car, you really ought to treat yourself to at least one day on a track to realise its full potential. So we thought we ought to tell you how to get the most out of a track day using an empty Brands hatch and a brand new Audi S3. With its Quattro four-wheel drive system and a turbocharged 2-litre engine that produces 262 horsepower, the S3 gets to 60 in 5.5 seconds. It's grippy, composed and safe for beginners to thrash. First up, jack it off so your arms are nice and free, and soft shoes so you can feel the pedals. Most clubs will insist on helmets, which are usually supplied on the day, but as we're on our own, it's okay without. It's best to sit a bit closer to the wheel than normal for better control. You should be able to put your wrist on top of the wheel without having to lean forwards. The only preparation your car will need is 5 or 6 more PSI in the tyres. Number one lesson is don't rush out there thinking you're about to be a Schumacher. It really is a steady approach that reaps dividends. Now we've got the driving position right. The next thing is to get our hands locked in one grip on the wheel. Usually if you just rest your thumbs on top of the spokes and you can steer with the arms. You never need to take your hands off that one grip. Now there are 2 classic mistakes newcomers make when they get on a track for the first time. It involves not looking far enough ahead. We're approaching the infamous paddock hill bend at Brands Hatch. We turn in at the right point, we might find the apex, but because we don't look far enough ahead, we get to the apex and then we add more lock. And all of a sudden, at what was a perfectly safe speed, we've pitched the car sideways because we've added lock when we didn't need it. Now the second classic error when you try to go too fast too soon, again here at Paddock Hill Bend, we change down to third, we turn, we think we know the line, we accelerate in hard, but all of a sudden, oh no, it's too fast! Oh! I had to lift off the throttle halfway through the corner because I'm powered in. I've gone too much power too soon. And that's where you can really get yourself into trouble very easily. Start to build up speed by accelerating a little earlier out of the corners and start braking a little later and harder. Every lap you should aim to add a little more speed while keeping smooth. In fact, to play with the boundaries, you're actually breaking all the rules I've just taught you. So instead of being smooth, I can start doing some tricks. So you can start playing with the car, throwing a bit, see what it'll do. Oh, I'm being nasty with it now. And that's what track days are about. First we've learnt the smooth line, you know, we've got the ultimate lap time going ultra smooth. And now we're just sort of having a bit of fun, really. You won't need to warm up tyres or brakes on a road car before you go out, but you do have to be careful you don't overheat them when you're on the track. Tyres can get really badly blistered if you press them too hard on a hot day, and brakes particularly, they're just not designed for constantly accelerating, braking, and after 10, sometimes even less laps in a high performance, if it's a heavy car, they will begin to fade and overheat, so you just need to go back to the pit stop and let them cool down. Perhaps the most important tip of all is to check out your insurance. Fully comprehensive only covers road use, and insurance companies are getting wise to the number of write-offs that uncannily seem to happen right outside the front gates of a track. Circuit cover can cost as little as £50 a day. Oh, and one final piece of advice. When you come into the pits to cool your brakes off, don't put the handbrake on, because that will put the pads up against the disc, heat soaks through, fluid boils. Put it in gear, switch off, let it cool.